As I laid on my bed, I thought to myself, I need to give him some space that will be healthy for the both of us. It was almost dinner time, so I went downstairs to the kitchen to prepare something. As I passed by the sitting room, I saw Alex and Christiana chatting and laughing. The way he looked at her, I felt weak on my knees. I walked to the kitchen quickly and started to prepare dinner. I couldn't get my mind off Alex and Christiana. I was so lost in thoughts that I didn't notice Alex walk into the kitchen. He startled me with a tickle and I couldn't help it but laugh. And trying to stop him from tickling me, I turned to him and then he hugged me. I froze. My head was spinning so much random thoughts. I was at a thin line between being sane and going crazy. Why? Did you have to hug me so intensely? I thought to myself. I was so confused. I didn't know how to react. The hug lasted for about 2 minutes and the atmosphere was filled with mixed emotions. He then cleared his throat to break the silence. I was still frozen. I could feel my heart race and my legs became weaker than how I felt earlier. Olivia, wake up. A hug doesn't mean he's into you. You are just a friend, nothing more. I said to myself loudly. I turned back to the veggies I was cutting. What can I help you with? Alex asked. I answered and said, nothing much. I'm just making sauce for the rice. How about Christiana? She left already. She couldn't wait for dinner. Probably next time, he said. I nodded, and he kept company till I prepared the dinner and we ate. My exams were just around the corner and I was taking my studies very serious. Alex was a great help to me, but I was still careful because of Christiana. While studying for my last paper, I couldn't understand some terms, so I went to Akek's tech company to ask for explanations since he was working overtime that day. It was my very first time in his company, and I was very stunned by Alex's achievements at his young age, considering that he grew up without a father. I already called Alex earlier to inform him of my coming and he had made necessary schedule preparations. When I got to the company, I saw Alex and Christiana hugging tightly. Her head was buried in his arms, and there were sparks of emotions. I froze. I didn't know when a tear dropped from my eyes. I thought I had accepted the fact that Alex loved Christiana, but seeing this scene and how I was broken made me realize I was still attached to Alex. I couldn't meet Alex again. I felt embarrassed, so I ran home. Alex called and called my phone, but I couldn't bring myself to pick the calls. Worried, he came home in a hurry, fearing something had happened to me. He knocked on my room door and I asked him to come in. What happened? I was expecting you at the office. I called your phone, but it went straight to voicemail. I was worried. I just looked at him and he noticed my eye bags, dark circles and the redness of my eyes. Were you crying? What happened? He asked, looking so concerned and rubbing my head. I just couldn't bring myself to tell him, so I begged him to leave me alone, that I want to be left alone. My last paper wasn't really good. I was emotionally disbalanced. Alex tried to talk to me throughout the day. I just kept ignoring him. I didn't like the way I felt. Alex was in the dark. I could see the efforts he was putting in, finding out what was wrong with me, but I couldn't just tell him, he's my boss's son, I'm a nobody. I didn't know Christiana much, but from her skin and charisma, you could tell she's from a rich home. I avoided Alex so much that I do my chores very early, eat my meals in my room, not on the dining. Then one morning, Alex had already gone to work by 7:30 a.m., as usual, but around 11:30 a.m., Christiana rushed home knocking at the door, really loud. I rushed out and met her panting, trying to catch her breath. She could only make out few words. Alex, he. As I heard Alex, I panicked, where she held my hand, and we ran out to the car. In the car, she told me Alex just fell down and fainted after complaining of severe headache. We drove to a park. We came down running. I followed Christiana panicking. I didn't even notice the balloons and flowers. As I sighted Alex, I ran straight to him, almost tripped, but he caught me halfway. I was already sweating and I was touching him. How? What happened? Why did you faint? He just kept smiling, looking at me. It was at this point I noticed the cake. I saw everyone standing with phones up. I saw the balloons and flowers. Then he said, "Happy birthday, baby girl." I looked at him. Years formed in my eyes, and I asked him in a low tune, "How did you know?" "It's in your resume," he answered. I turned around and I saw my parents. They came over to hug me and the tears finally flowed down. After the celebration and all, I asked him why he decided to prank me. Obviously, it's because I was avoiding him. At the end, he called everyone's attention. And then he turned me, held my hands, and he said, "Olivia, I've not been the same since you came into my life. Sincerely, guys." The rest of the words became echoes and memories I will cherish forever. He asked me to be his girl. Then I asked him how about Christiana. He said, Christiana is his cousin who returned from the States with his mom. I was shocked. Mom? Then I heard her voice from behind. Yes, dear. I was stunned to see my boss standing behind me. She told me Alex had told her before now and she wouldn't miss the day he asks his girl out for anything. Well, there you have it. I moved with my family from the ghetto to Lekki, and we lived happily ever after. Now we have 2 kids. Laugh softly. Like, share, and leave your comments for more stories.